Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savetic, and we have a winner. We have a series winner, and we have a thrilling game to talk about going into today's game, I should say. But let me pull up the score from yesterday. As most people are aware, if you follow me on social media, probably if you're watching this podcast, you probably follow me on social media. But we are finally redoing the roof on our shed, and my dad came over to help take some fascia down and stuff like that. So I was busy with him doing that, and we had dinner and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to cover the game. And, it was one of those that I missed a really good game. Just looking at the box scores, the RailCats won 4-1. Real quick, looking at people that got hits, Contreras went 1 for 3 with a run. Del Valle went 3 for 4 with a run, and I thought he had a home run in this game. I'm thinking of someone else. Valera went 0 for 4. Mariaga went 1 for 4 with 2 hits. Castillo went 1 for 4 with 1 run and 2 RBIs. His was the home run. Yep, and then Sierra went 1 for 3. That was the only ones that got hits for the RailCats there. Vivas went 6 innings, went 6 innings, he had 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Absolutely phenomenal. The rest of the team came in and shut the door. Yohan Valdez pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Eisenbarger came in, 1 hit, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Wilkinson gets the save with 1 inning, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. So coming from a situation where the RailCats get swept by the Dogs and ending the Dogs' 9-game winning streak and holding off from them securing further on into the number 1 overall for the East Division. It was a good bounce back game for the RailCats. And, sometimes it's just about right now, it's about what's your audition for next year, what's your audition, potentially for other affiliated clubs or MLB teams maybe want to pick you up, that kind of stuff. So I think you're just auditioning at this point for next year. So the better you play now, the more likely, one, your chances of moving up could significantly go higher, and a chance to be a building block for this team as well. So let's go ahead and let's get into today's game. Game 2 against the Dogs. Beautiful weather. Obviously wasn't at the game. Beautiful weather. I think the game time temperature, they didn't have that up, but it was nice weather. I think it was the 60s most of the day. So really nice weather. It was a 3-hour game. On that portion of it, it started at 6:34, ended at 9:43. At that point of it. So let's go ahead and get into the game real quick. Starting off, Diaz hits a ball to Heath. Heath drops it. I was already in the scorebook getting ready to write it down that he caught it. It was an error on his portion. First error that led to a RailCats run. It eventually led to a RailCats run. He advanced the second on that, and then Del Valle flew out to right field, and then Diaz moved to third. Valera, rumor still has it that ball is still in the air. Valera crushes a ball to left field, put the RailCats up 2-0. Mariaga strikes out. Gonzalez strikes out. That was all of the scoring until the bottom of the 5th. When Jose Betances comes in, and Harrison Francis pitched himself out of a couple pickles as well. He went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I think his pitch count kind of got to him a little bit on that portion. It looks like he was at 86 pitches going into the 5th inning. So that's a lot of pitches that you're at that point. So it's just one of those pitches that, it's Harrison Francis for you. He's going to throw a lot of balls. He's just going to throw a lot of pitches in an outing. So it's going to be hard for him to naturally get to the sixth and seventh inning. Maybe that's something that he needs to kind of work towards as well next year. Looking forward, depending on what he's going to do, that portion of it. But Jose Betances comes in, and that was just a rough. He gives up a double to Eels. And then he walks Lidge, walks Altman, and then Mangieri comes up and hits a grand slam, and it just all the air just deflates. I went, oh, here we go again. But luckily, once I think Betances walked Lidge, I'm pretty sure Lamar Rogers had Aaron Phillips coming up, or started warming up. So that's a positive to take away from that, is being proactive to the situation. And then Aaron Phillips comes in and he pitches 2 innings, gives up 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. But what he did in the rest of that, he struck out Bohannon. Lujano flew out to center, and then Metzger popped out to Diaz. So that's a positive, being proactive in that, and Phillips coming in and shutting the door. That's, for Betances, that's not very, auditioning there. The past 2 games, he's given up, a handful of runs, and I know he's been starting in a handful of those, but, the runs are still significantly higher, and, there's not a lot of innings being pitched in those situations, so it's, maybe not looking so good on that portion of it. That is all the scoring that the Dogs did. It was really, when you look at here in the 6th inning, to set it up, Delvay hits a double. Valera flies out to left. Mariaga grounds out to third, and then Gonzalez hits a ball out to Heath, and this one was a little bit trickier to kind of make for for Heath, but he still caught it, but then dropped it, which caused the Valle to score. The RailCats went up 5-4 at that point. No, my bad. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I said the RailCats were down 4-2. This added on another run. I'm having a brain fart. I'm skipping way too far ahead in this situation. I have too many things going on at once. So, first mistake. Not going to edit it out. Don't care to. I screwed up. That's what happens. Nothing happening for the RailCats in the 7th and the 8th. Now coming up to the 9th is where everything got really interesting. So, Mariaga grounds out. Gonzalez walks. Castillo strikes out. And then basically, I don't know if it was a full count or it was a 2-2 count. I'm not 100% positive. Sierra hits a 2-run RBI double, or not 2-run, a RBI double to score Gonzalez in, and that tied the game for the RailCats. And you kind of felt that little glimpse of hope that maybe you're going to be able to pull this off. Where I was starting to kind of get a little hesitant and was winning the 9th when Wilkinson came on. But luckily he was able to pitch 2 innings, so that made it easier. But then going into the top of the 10th here, so basically what Wilkinson kind of got himself in a little pickle. He walked Mangieri, Bohannon. He bunted for a sacrifice. I think he was trying to get a hit, but he still bunted it. And then Lujano was intentionally walked, and then Botcher strikes out, and then Rosa strikes out as well. So that was a situation where, one day you intentionally walk a guy and they go yard and they win the game, basically. And then another time you walk a guy or intentionally walk a guy and you end up winning the game. It's just funny thing how baseball works, but I think in the situation is the pitches are completely different in that situation, and the situation's different itself. You weren't having a power hitter coming up that was already due to do something like that, and that's what happens. But going into the 10th here, Greeley started on second just because of the ghost runner situation there. Decker hits a sacrifice bunt, moves Greeley to third. Diaz singled, which scored Greeley, which made it 5-4. At that point, you took the lead. With Diaz, there's your lead. That's your game winning run right there. That's plain and simple game winning run. Del Valle walked. Diaz moved to second. Mariaga hits a double, which scores Diaz and Del Valle, and moved Valera to third. Valera got a single as well, to move Diaz and Valera up, or Del Valle up. So basically, bases loaded at this point. That was Mariaga's 100th hit of the game, or 100th hit of the season. Gonzalez and Castillo, Gonzalez strikes out, and then Castillo pops out. Going into the 9th, Rosa starts on, or bottom of the 10th, Rosa starts at second. Heath strikes out. Eels grounds out to Diaz. And then Lidge flies out to Mariaga to end the game. So just based off of that, you'd have to give the player of the game to Diaz. One going 2 for 5 with 2 runs and an RBI. So he contributed. I know you could probably throw it to one in a million different ways, but typically the guy that gives you the game-winning run in the 9th, or in the 10th, basically, is the guy that should deserve. I guess it was in the 9th. No, 10th. Lord, I don't remember anything that I do anymore. It was the 10th inning. You could maybe give it to Sierra just because the situation to tie the game. You're down to your final strike and your final out. But, being Diaz and being that consistent guy, being at the top of the batting order, driving in a run, scoring runs, that's Diaz, player of the game for me. I just played as simple as that to me. So, looking here at the pitching line, I really went through Harrison Francis. Betances didn't even go a third of an inning. He didn't go nothing. Well, he pitched, but he gave up 2 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks. Phillips went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Adi Nunez just gave up the 1 hit. Jack Eisenberg gave up the 1 hit. Wilkinson went 2 innings, got the win/save. I know doesn't get credit for the save, but in my eyes, it's a save. All right. He went 2 innings, walked 2, and struck out 3. Looking here at the batting order, Diaz went 2 for 5 with 2 runs and RBI. Del Valle went 1 for 4 with 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Valera went 2 for 5, 1 run, 2 RBIs with the home run. Mariaga went 1 for 5, 2 RBIs, 2 strikeouts. Marcos Gonzalez went 1 for 4 with 1 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Castillo went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Miguel Sierra with the 1 hit, the 1 hit, 1 RBI, or 1 hit, 1 RBI at 4 at bats. Game winning or game tying hit with 3 strikeouts. Cadell went 0 for 2. Greely went 0 for 2 with a run scored. And then Decker went 0 for 3. Looking at the dog side of it, Wheeland went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, and 9 strikeouts. Like that stat line kills me. If he didn't drop those 2 balls, he would have only given up the 1 run. And that's just crazy to think how if he would have just given up that 1 run, now the RailCats would have technically still won the game, giving up, it'd still be 5-4, but still that's a big shift in the tide there at that point. Newberry came in, he pitched 1 inning, had 1 strikeout. Calviero, he came in 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Schiller, he came in, he gave up 1 inning, or pitched 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 run, which was earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Snelton, 1 inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So I mean that wraps up this game, basically, and it's a good game. I was entertained. It had this settle ups and flows, and um, yeah, I thought it was a good game. I let me know what you guys think. I thought it was a good game. There was that mentality of you keep the score low. Eventually, the offense is going to come through. Like, that's the part that kills me with this team is eventually the offense starts to kind of come through, and it just depends on if the pitching staff can hold it down. And the pitching staff held it down, and the offense did their job. Like, I think that was something that we should have seen all year, but we didn't, and we kind of know why. With the issues that happened in the locker room, and when issues in the locker room hurt, you can take the best talent in the world. As soon as that locker room starts falling apart, it just eats at you. It just eats away at you, and you just don't want to show up the ballpark. You just don't want to give it full effort, which is the ironic part about all of this situation, is because the team never gives up. So it's a weird situation that I'm hopefully going to do some digging in the offseason with, and really try to get down to the bottom portion, and try to get a clarity of what happened to this team realistic. Because this is one of those games where, like, yeah, the Dogs were coming on a 9-game winning streak. They lose yesterday, and you kind of expect them to bounce back. And the RailCats held them down. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one of those, like, you take a potent team, very good. Now you keyed off of their opportunities. They're a good defensive team, and they had 2 errors tonight, which hurt them. But it's just one of those situations where they out hit you, but you were able to score more runs, and the pitching and the defense played well enough for the offense to come through when they needed to. That's what it came down to, and that's what this is the kind of game that I expect from the RailCats all year. And this was what we were kind of expecting. We didn't get it all year because of, I don't know, other situations, whatever other thing. I think we can, we'll get a spell of these last 5 games, and kind of see what pieces might work and what pieces might have to go. It's going to be interesting to see, obviously we finish it out with the Dogs and hopefully getting a sweep with them. And then we play Milwaukee, maybe we could play spoilers either way, however we want to spin this. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of spans itself out. So yeah, but that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for me. Try to keep the like post-game ones under 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes on that portion of it. So yeah, if you have anything to tack on, put it down in the comments or tweet at me, Facebook me, whatever the case may be. Comment whatever you want to do. Share with your friends, fans, that anyone wants to. I want to. It's not so much trying to grow the fan base here, but it's to grow the fan base of the RailCats, and this be a source for people to come to the ballpark and understand, what's going on, when I know it's different, there's no more home games, but they're able to talk about it. They're able to come to the ballpark and not be confused, and understand and see players, understand the transactions and stuff like that. So, but before I go, I want everyone to take a moment and go to, I think they broadcast on Podbean, but this week in the association with Rob and Kevin, and listen to that Steve Montgomery interview. All right, because what that interview was really good in first place. But what Steve talked about, his answer talking about being a manager, really puts in perspective how many hours that coaches put in. And I know how that is being a coach before. I know it was high school, but I did put in a lot of hours watching film, doing other stuff like that. So it's a different spectrum, different scale. But you should listen to that. It's very good. It's very informative to understand, and really put in the mindset of probably what majority of these managers do all year. So yeah. But that's all I got. That's my last little bit of it. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this. And go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wrap this one up in green and